What's stopping you from being productive? Are you constantly tired, distracted, overwhelmed? For the last few years, I've used a three-part system to run multiple businesses and a YouTube channel without falling prey to this. This system handles every level of productivity, how you feel about working, the tools and strategies that make work easier, and the trick that clicks you into productivity autopilot, brainwashing you to get stuff done. For fun, I think of it like this. Step 1, Batman. Turn yourself into a productivity monster. Step 2, Iron Man. Build yourself the ultimate productivity weapon. And Step 3, Bill Murray. But you're just gonna have to trust me on this one. It's the most important step in the video. It's made me millions of dollars. Step 1 is brainwashing yourself into a productivity monster. If you can do this, you'll easily add hundreds to your daily potential income. For me, this happens in 2 ways. First, you must take care of yourself. That's the only way you can increase your desire to work, your capacity to work, and actually focus on your work. Most people skip this step and wonder why they're lacking in motivation. In video games, self-care would be like that special buff that increases all your stats. You want this buff. Second, assembling your BATCAVE. That is creating an environment that checkmates you into being productive. In video games, this would be like playing something with intuitive controls. Everything feels effortless. It feels easy to get what you need done. But now, how do you actually take care of yourself so that you're more productive? First, don't pressure yourself too much. Perfection is not the goal. You'll have off days. I have off days where I don't hit my goals. That's just part of being human and walking around in these emotional meat suits that we like to call bodies. So don't aim for perfection. Just try to get a little bit better daily. Second, you need to sleep well. Doing this means you'll focus more motivation, organization, remember more information. Almost every single thing about your life will be better if you sleep better. I'm not one of those people who can get by on like 5 hours of sleep. My focus absolutely dive bombs on anything under like 7 hours. I'd be broke if I had terrible sleep. It's seriously that important. I had a certain illness recently, one that ends in 19.
We do not speak his name.
It killed my sleep. And it killed my productivity for about 3 weeks. It matters so much. Third, eat healthy. This will cut down on brain fog, making it easier for you to focus. The best diet is different for everyone, but for me, carnivore works great. I feel best when I eat 2 to 3 pounds of meat daily. That's not for everyone. Fourth, exercise. This creates an insane passive benefit on your overall productivity. You'll have more energy, motivation, and less brain fog. Yes, it's boring and tedious, but it's one of the best time investments you can possibly make, and it helps you wrangle this. Now remember, I do none of this perfectly. You don't have to either. Some days I totally suck. Some days I start work too late. I sleep in. I don't hit all my goals, but little improvements in each area make me feel great, making all of my work 1,000 times easier as a result. That's what we want. Figure out your meat suit and then move on to your BATCAVE. When your environment sucks, you'll suck. Whenever I'm surrounded by my phone, game consoles, or distracting apps, my productivity absolutely tanks. It's probably the same for you. The modern world is literally built to steal our attention and actually brainwash you to work less, to do less, to be less. But the good news is that you can control your environment. You can manufacture your environment to brainwash you to work harder if you let it. Here's my desk setup, and here's what I do. I take my phone and I place it face down on that shelf way back there, way out of reach. I wouldn't judge you if you got one of these timed lock boxes for your phone. This guy, Johan Hari, he did a deep dive into why people can't focus, and one of his biggest tips was to make sure you don't have access to your phone when you want to be productive. He recommends the lockbox. I'll link that one down below. This might sound nuts, but your phone is designed to be an attention vampire. It'll steal hours of your productive time if you let it.
If this is about my attention, take it. I don't want it without you.
I won't come back. And you can go on with your life without any interference from me.
Don't have it near your workspace or where you sleep. You won't get anything done, and you'll stay up way too late browsing who knows what. Now, you can take this one step further. If you're distracted by video games, remove them from anywhere near your workplace. YouTube, block it during work hours. Yeah, actually block it, even my videos.
But it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Use apps like Freedom to help block websites, or go nuclear and use self-control. Author Neil Gaiman talks about this, creating a boring environment where he has 3 choices: do nothing, stare out the window, or work. And because the alternatives are so darn boring, he always ends up doing the work. It's easy as that. And again, the default of your environment is to brainwash you into laziness. Fight that. Like Neil, you can use your environment, use it and use your boredom to brainwash yourself into success and productivity. Do this and take care of yourself, and you will become Productivity Batman. After that, it's time to get technical. I try to look at my productivity system like this. My brain sucks. A productivity system tricks me into being less sucky, leveraging technology to brainwash me into finding my work more manageable. Throughout the day, your brain is going to get overwhelmed with information. It's going to fall behind, run out of memory storage, and become disorganized. That's just how it goes. That's part of the whole meat suit thing. This doesn't mean you suck or your brain sucks. It means every human brain is absolute dog water. We need help to be productive, help to fight this. That disastrous looming enemy of ours is ourself. Specifically our ancient lizard brains, nervous, easily distracted, overwhelmed. And this is where the system comes in. It's a set of tools you use to wrangle your lizard brain. This system helps you capture, organize, and utilize information. What this does is improve your productive consistency, which is the true path to success. Not being perfect for 1 week and burning yourself out. Being consistently better than your default lizard. My tool of choice to help is Notion. It's an all-in-one productivity tool. I'm going to use it for the examples in this video. I'll have it linked down below, as well as my totally free goal-setting template that you can go ahead and steal. But this system doesn't just work on Notion. You can use pen and paper or any app that you like. To capture information, you want to start with a notebook and a calendar. Instead of relying on your brain, which will forget, the notebook, whether digital or physical, catches information that you need to remember, thoughts, deadlines, girlfriend's birthday, anything. If you're going the physical paper route, this is by far the best notebook I've ever purchased. I have like 8 of these. This specific one will be linked in the notes below. As for the calendar, again, instead of relying on your brain, which will forget, your calendar keeps track of everything you need to do in life, when and where, every day, every week, every month. You get the picture. You get invited to something, have a deadline, consult your calendar, and just simply stick it in. Next, you need to organize your information. The main action here is using your notebook as a capture device. Those items are then evaluated and placed into your deadline device, your calendar. Visualize it like your tasks are going down a conveyor belt. It's your job to tag them with a due date so they go to the appropriate bucket. Those buckets are daily, weekly, and monthly tasks. Again, what you need to do is make sure the information from your notes is moving forward towards your calendar, and then organize into actual tasks with a deadline. This will massively help your workflow and prevent you from becoming overwhelmed. In Notion, tag tasks to your calendar, allowing you to process the information quickly and organize it into action items. Now that our lizard brain is no longer scurrying about trying to remember everything, we can plan ahead and figure out what exactly we need to take care of in the coming weeks. Your system should make this perfectly clear. Prioritize each task, then allocate days to go ahead and check those things off. This gives you a solid foundation that will passively benefit your productivity. That's what we want. We're brainwashing ourselves. Again, we don't want to think. We want to just do. We want the system to make it easy for us. The amount of people who don't plan their week absolutely blows my mind. They're just walking around raw dogging their goals, swaying with the wind. That's nuts. I break my weekly plan into days of the week and then hours of the working day. Then I assign tasks per hour. And while it might sound like way too intense, I'm actually not too hung up on whether I do them or not at the exact time that I schedule ahead of time. What's more important is that all of this information is clear, accessible, and makes it simple to see what I actually need to get done. This brainwashes me into thinking the work is easier to do, all because I'm not overwhelmed with this crazy amount of information, trying to remember things. My brain is freed up to solve the problems that are in front of me. And you know what? We can go even further, because the other thing that's going to stall your productivity is clutter, physical and digital clutter. This is my Achilles heel. I'm really bad about this kind of thing. Clutter will brainwash you into thinking you're buried under some huge pile of work, but like everything, this works both ways. For physical clutter, letters, post-its, do you like me, yes or no, notes, this paper information needs to be dealt with. You need to look at it, take care of it, and then trash it or file it. I often fail with this one. I'm being completely honest here. I tend to forget stuff if I don't have it like sitting out in front of me. So my lizard brain just likes to leave stuff out. But that doesn't happen as soon as I have a system where everything has a place. Here's a few things that have really helped me with this issue I have. An in tray and an out tray. Super simple. The in tray is for physical clutter that you need to action, like a bill to pay. The out tray is for physical clutter that you've taken care of that needs to be mailed or filed away. Everything else gets trashed. Also, just get an office bin. For digital clutter, you're mainly going to need an email organization system. This can be functional tools, useful habits, or both. I use both. Now, my inbox is a bit extreme. I get several hundred emails a day, so feel free to scale up or down this system to your individual needs. The first thing you need to do is get yourself a DAN, a Dan. This is Dan. He helps me organize everything. But what we first do is unsubscribe from any garbage as soon as it comes in. This free Chrome extension is awesome for unsubbing, by the way. Second, everything gets sorted into one of 9 subfolders. They call them labels on Gmail. The labels we have include Max to do, Dan to do, look over, receipts, promotions, no response, that kind of thing. Third, whenever possible, for something like a receipt that we get every single month, we set up a simple filter automation that will mark the email as read and then place it under the appropriate label. That helps big time. To do that on Gmail, open an email, click the 3 dots thing, then click filter emails like this. This allows me to check my email just once daily and quickly take care of whatever I need to do. Fixing your email means that you don't feel swamped for no good reason and you're ready to actually do your work. Now that we're organized and up to speed, we need a tool to focus the work that we do. Again, I like to use Notion. It takes information that I've captured and organizes that into tasks. I don't forget anything. I know when it's due. I know how to organize my time and actually get stuff done. This takes a huge amount of pressure off of my shoulders. It makes life so much easier because I can prioritize what tasks need actioning today, meaning my default lizard brain, this idiot, can relax knowing that I don't have to worry about the rest. I don't have to worry about next week's tasks because those are already scheduled. However, what's important here isn't so much the tool, it's the way that you're using it. Remember, our brains suck. Use a system to make up for their suckage. Your tool, no matter what it is, captures, organizes, and utilizes information. So I want you to do this. Experiment with Notion and play around with creating these tools and funneling them into one another. Or set down a process of notebooks that moves information through notes all the way to your task tracker and weekly plan. Doesn't matter where you start. It just matters that you start. Then you'll be brainwashing yourself in no time. But we're only halfway to productivity god status. Physical preparation and tools aren't quite enough. If you really want to become productive, you're gonna have to embrace Bill Murray. This is by far the most important advice in this entire video. It's literally made me millions of dollars and it couldn't be simpler, so that's pretty great. You've probably seen Groundhog Day. Bill Murray is forced to live the same day over and over again on repeat. But did you know that this is a productivity gold mine? Because once you've locked down the physical side, calming the lizard, set up your productivity tools, freeing the lizard. You want to find a productive day that you can live on repeat. A default day that you can fall back on no matter what. A default day that makes you a better you. But like anything, there's an art to this. First, figure out the long-term goals that you want to achieve. You need something to actually aim for. Second, figure out the most important actions that drive you to your long-term goals. The actions are usually pretty obvious. If you want to be a writer, then you should write every day. Third, figure out one thing that you need to achieve each day for your short-term goals. Block out time for this on your schedule. Fourth, determine the best mix of outside actions that you can do that will passively feed your productivity and calm your lizard. Eat well, sleep well, exercise, that kind of stuff. Fifth, organize your notes and continually funnel them into action items on your calendar so you actually know what to do and you have a due date to complete those things. And finally, wake up, repeat, sleep. Wake up, repeat, sleep. You don't have to be exact. You don't have to be perfect. Your system doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to know what you're trying to do and have a repeatable Groundhog Day structure that you can return to day in, day out, with only a few minor changes here and there. If you do that, it's almost impossible for you to fail. If you don't have a system, you will be brainwashed into being unproductive, unsuccessful. That's just a fact. However, if you have a goal and you have a system, you will easily brainwash yourself into productivity and a more fulfilling life, making your average day one that actually benefits you. And if you need a community to support the new you, you can join us over at Finovo, where you'll be surrounded by people pushing and working to build the best versions of ourselves. So you might be thinking, this system makes a lot of sense, but you're unsure what goal you should actually be working towards. If that's the case, I got you covered with this video on screen.
Then put your